to the Maha battle. That's right, voting has almost ended. Just the last few voters left in the big battleground states of Maharashtra and Haryana. And in a few moments from now, we will finally be in a position to slowly start giving you what our exit poll is saying. Remember, Election Commission rules don't allow us to give those figures till voting is completely over. That's what we are waiting for now. Let's bring you the big headline to our special coverage on the Maha battle on a day when the India Today Cicero exit poll will be out. The poll that will tell you or give you some trends as to what we believe has happened in the key state of Maharashtra, India's second largest state when it comes to the number of MPs. Now, before we took a break, we had an interesting suggestion my suggestion that Modi was attempting to do an Indira Gandhi in Maharashtra, become a pan-Indian leader and dominate a state like Maharashtra. Manishankar Iyer disagreed. With him also now is Seshadri Chari. With me is Manisha Priyam, senior academic and political scientist. But first, Mani, since you disagreed, and I didn't let you complete as to why you disagreed that Modi is not Indira. Tell us why you believe Narendra Modi is not Indira Gandhi when it comes to a state election like Maharashtra.
Because when Indira Gandhi became the Prime Minister, most of the states of India, I think almost all of them, were with the Congress. Then she lost them. She lost them badly in 1967. So what happened in 1971 was a recovery of seats that belonged to the Congress. And so when she lost them in 1977, she then recovered them in 1980. So the recovery of all these states by Indira Gandhi, I don't think can be compared to the possibility of Modi initially winning states that do not belong or have not belonged to the BJP.
Okay, I take your point, but Manisha Priyam, I think what I was trying to suggest is that, and Nikhil Wagle raised this point, that there is no real pan-Maharashtra leader today. Along comes Narendra Modi, promises development, talks of governance. Local leaders then come and start targeting Narendra Modi. Uddhav Thackeray, Sharad Pawar, Raj Thackeray, all of them question Modi. So it becomes Modi versus the rest. Do you believe that is to the advantage of the BJP, and do you believe therefore his opponents have made a mistake by making Narendra Modi an issue in a state election?
I don't think so. I also do not think that it was highly inappropriate to compare Narendra Modi and Indira Gandhi. This is indeed the Indira Gandhi moment for the Bharatiya Janata Party. What else was Mrs. Gandhi doing except to handle state level factionalism, except to decimate smaller parties that had come up at the state level? The anti-Congressism of 67, 68, 69 was a congeries of small parties. What else is Narendra Modi doing except to wipe out in a sense, the factionalism that exists, the mood that exists of anti-Congressism? That's what he's strongly, trying to...
or trying to wipe out a party like the Shiv Sena or the Haryana Janhit Congress?
Exactly. That's what he's trying to do. So, in a sense, Indira Gandhi was emerging from within the party. Indira Gandhi was trying to decimate all the other smaller parties or regional sentiments and aspirations that existed. So it is indeed no two moments of history. Remember, history is not a controlled experiment. Never can any type of social moment or political moment be recreated as if it were a lab experiment. There can't even be a quasi-experiment. But coming back to the Narendra Modi moment, this is indeed still an experiment that he's undertaken. Maharashtra has never been the strong footing of the Bharatiya Janata Party. He does indeed go to that state with the identity of being a tall Gujarati leader. Now, if this works this time, then there's something different that's happening in the state of Maharashtra. Clearly a desire in the state to go on and be amongst that tally of states in India that's counting themselves to be in the states that are on the development model. There is nothing called the Maharashtra model of development today. There is a Gujarat, Bihar. Where is Maharashtra on that list of discussion?
Interesting point. Seshadri Chari, you are vigorously nodding your head. You don't seem to like the idea that I'm even comparing Narendra Modi to Indira Gandhi. Let's be clear. As Manisha Priyam is saying, what Modi has done in Maharashtra is bring himself to the center stage. There's no local leadership. You don't have a strong local leader who you can even project as a chief minister. You virtually sidelined the Shiv Sena completely. You broke the alliance. You broke with Haryana Janhit Congress in Haryana. But I'm getting the sense that this is Modi versus the rest.
No, it's not.
Like it was Indira versus the rest in the 1970s.
No, the fact is Mrs. Indira Gandhi was a very towering leader. In that particular situation, she was a very good leader. what has happened was Mrs. Indira Gandhi had to fight people in her own party and establish herself. So that is what she did in 1971. But she had to practically create a new political party out of it. Was Congress
Narendra Modi
R.
is creating a new
It was R.
BJP.
No,
Narendra Modi is creating a new BJP. He is the BJP.
Our problem,
BJP is Modi.
Our problem in both Haryana and Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, we lost a very important leader, Gopinath Munde. And we did not really create a new leader because we never thought about this. That was the only problem as far as Maharashtra is concerned. But there are leaders, like for example, Goa, we never had a leader, but suddenly we found a person and we projected
You
him.
don't accept BJP is Modi, Modi is BJP, and that's the card you have played in Maharashtra.
Similarly in Haryana, for a long time, even today we don't have a leader in Haryana. To tell you very frankly, there is nothing wrong in accepting for a BJP person to accept that we don't have a leader as far as Haryana is concerned. So therefore, it always requires somebody to campaign. And in Modi, we have got a good campaigner. And we have seen it in Lok Sabha and we are seeing it now. So that is one thing. But the situations are similar. You can say.
Hold on. Let's get shorter comments so that we'll get more voices in. Yes.
I think Mr. Chari may be right that there are differences, but electorally, see, between 67 and 71, Mrs. Gandhi, under her leadership, produced a 15% swing in favor of the Congress.
Okay.
And what we are seeing between 2009 and 2014 Lok Sabha election, under Mr. Modi, call it a Modi wave, call it in spite of Mr. Modi, whatever it is, there was a 15% wave. Now this 15% electoral swing between 67 and 71 and between 2009 and 2014 is unprecedented in Indian.
No, I take that, and I want to know what is it, because Maharashtra. No, just a minute. Nikhil Wangle on the ground. What is the attraction of Narendra Modi to the average Maharashtrian? When you say today on this program that you get a sense that Modi has enthused a lot of people, there is a Modi factor. What is so attractive about Modi to the average Maharashtrian this time?
Rajdeep, first of all, we have to understand that this election, this assembly election is taking place in the background of Lok Sabha election.
Right.
This is the first thing. Second thing is that Modi is filling up the vacuum created in Maharashtra politics. There is a credibility vacuum. There is no credible leader in Maharashtra. Sharad Pawar has totally lost it. Sharad Pawar was tallest leader of Maharashtra till 1985, 86, 88. But when he entered into, once again he entered into Congress, he lost all the credibility. All this criminalization of politics and everything started with him. Last 20 years, Sharad Pawar is not seen as credible leader. And after Gopinath Munde, there is no other credible leader. Even Nitin Gadkari's appeal is not beyond Nagpur. Gadkari is a manipulator. He is not a mass leader. So Modi gives that credibility to BJP. People trust him. He has addressed huge meetings. He has promised several things. When he goes to Konkan, he promises on local issues, goes to Vidarbha, goes to North Maharashtra, he knows local issues and appeals to people. I don't know whether he will succeed or not.
Does he appeal to the young?
People are ready to give him one
I'm
chance.
just wondering, Nikhil, whether there is a generational change taking place in Maharashtra, that if someone's father who grew up under a Congress umbrella voted for the Congress as a tradition, the younger voter is attracted by the energy that Narendra Modi represents, by the fact that Modi talks a language and an idiom very different to the traditional Maharashtra politician. Is that what is so attractive, Nikhil, for you, for many people about Narendra Modi, particularly the youth?
Yes, I agree with you. There is a generational change in entire society, and Modi's appeal, Modi as a strong leader, people believe that Modi will make some change. People are not ready to believe local BJP leaders like Gadkari or Devendra Fadnavis or Pankaja Munde. BJP doesn't have tall leader in Maharashtra after Gopinath Munde, and now Modi has come from Delhi. Right. He is promising people that he will do something, and I think voters are ready to give him one chance. I agree with you. There is a generational change and they want new things to happen.
You know, the fact though is that we are just getting from the Election Commission though that the voter percentage in Maharashtra is 55 as of 5 p.m. So it isn't dramatically different from what it was last time. Now, if there is a wave, Surjit Bhalla, you would expect, as was in the Lok Sabha, voter percentage to rise. Is that the first piece of slightly troubling news for the BJP? Because I'm also getting some of the projection that some of the other channels have already started with. We are being much more cautious. We will give it once we have the full picture. They are all not giving the BJP a clear majority. They're keeping the BJP at 125, 130. Manishankar Aiyar could smile about that and say, I told you so. But at the moment, the lower voter turnout, is that troubling? Does that suggest there is no wave? Do you need a higher voter turnout for a wave to be established?
Well, look, it is correct to assume that if the voter turnout was higher, then there is some element of a wave. So therefore, I would chalk that as a negative for the BJP. What is hugely positive for the BJP is this is a 4 to 5 cornered contest. Now, if I look at what happened in the Lok Sabha election versus the previous Lok Sabha election, 2/3, basically the BJP got twice as much swing as the Shiv Sena did. Okay, so they got about a 12 percentage point swing. The Shiv Sena got about a 6 percentage point swing for about the same number of seats that they campaigned either in 2009 or in 2014. Now, you know, the biggest math, and Ashok, there's a pioneer, you just ask him, the biggest math in elections is how much is the vote split. Turnout affects at the margin, but really, when you have a 4-cornered contest and you get a swing of 5-7% and everybody else is getting a downward swing, listen, that
No, I'm getting it. So therefore, Ashok, we are changing the index of opposition unity that you had in the 1980s based on how united the opposition was vis-a-vis the Congress to possibly index of Modi unity. How united is the opposition vis-a-vis Modi?
Absolutely.
If the opposition is divided against Modi, then it is advantage Modi and advantage BJP as it appears at the moment in Maharashtra.
I think so, but I wanted to come in some other point. On the turnout, you were saying now reports are
55% as of 5, so let's assume it will go by another 5 to 7%, maximum 60-62.
In which case, it's exactly the same as Lok Sabha turnout in 2014.
Yes.
So 2014 Lok Sabha election with 60% turnout, if BJP got a bonanza.
Maharashtra was slightly higher.
No, Maharashtra was 60%.
60%, okay,
Exactly
so it's roughly
60.
the same. Okay,
If it
point
is the
taken.
same, then we can't read too much into this turnout.
So
That's
you're
all
saying
I'm
turnout is not a major
Turnout is
factor.
not a
Okay,
major
let's pause. Let's take a break because this is fascinating to watch an Indian election unraveling in terms of the emergence of a so-called pan-Indian leader. But where does that leave regional parties? Is this election critical for regional parties like the Shiv Sena and MNS? What is their future? That's what we look at when we return. As always, of course, in elections, particularly on exit poll day, there are a lot of X factors. What could be that X factor? What should we be looking at in an hour from now when we bring you that big number? What should we be looking at very carefully? Manisha, what do you believe? In a state like Maharashtra, 5-cornered, do you believe it is easy to really decipher voter trends in a 5-cornered race?
You know, it's really not about the pegs right now. It's more about the moods and sentiments. And if you see, the definite mood and sentiment in Maharashtra is an anti-Congress sentiment. Here is one of their best chief ministers, does not have any major charges on him. People take him to be what he is, a good chief minister with a clean image, yet an appointee of the center takes the same tag and taint that any other government at the center would bequeath on him. So here he is going to pay for the sins of the center. It's going to be a clean wipeout for the Congress party. Then it's anybody's take. Not really a four-pegged contest.
So what you are saying, really what this exit poll or even the final verdict is about is really who's number 1 and 2. As far as the Congress and NCP are concerned, they are battling for 3rd and 4th.
Absolutely.
Manishankar Aiyar, you know what days have come? The great Indian National Congress in the state of Maharashtra, state that you never lost for 4 decades, is today battling for number 3 position. At least that's what, this is Manisha's view. Don't look at me like that and try and frighten me. It's not me who's saying it, she's saying it.
She's saying it. I greatly respect her view on this.
Yes.
But we're fighting from a position of 44 seats in the Lok Sabha.
Yes.
So we know that we've got our backs to the wall. I think the thing that I would look for is the point that you made a little while earlier, that margins are likely to be so slim, notwithstanding some overall swing, because much of the overall swing is going to be in a part of the state and not in the state as a whole. That's what we should be looking at, not today, but when the actuals come in. At the moment, I think what we need to ask ourselves today is, if the BJP is not able to form a government of its own, then what are the chances of its potential allies actually wanting to join them? And what kind of a government would emerge from, for instance, a BJP Shiv Sena coalition where Uddhav Thackeray is abusing whichever lesser human being is a BJP
I
chief
take your
minister.
point. What if all the others try to gang up? What if the Congress, NCP, Shiv Sena all try to form some grand reunion? Who knows? That will of course only happen if our exit poll, or actually the final poll on Sunday.
Or will Pranab Mukherjee win this election?
Or will Pranab Mukherjee? Pranab Mukherjee was hoping to win the election at the centre. That's where you had a clear landslide for the NDA. Will Maharashtra throw a more mixed verdict? Is Maharashtra going to be the state which will perhaps really, in a sense, show how post-poll politics still survives and endures in India? I think that's the big question that we're going to be looking at as we head into a tiny break again. When we return, we will look at both states, Maharashtra and Haryana, and we will be getting you our first trends and projections on what we believe has happened in these battleground states.